Hey everybody, welcome. We're excited that you're here to join us for today's webinar. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. We're going to let some stragglers come on in here. So we'll probably get started just after the turn of the hour here. Right. Looks like we still got some people rolling in here. Looking good, looking good. All right. So we got more people here rolling in. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome. We're just giving it a couple more minutes, letting everybody get in and get situated. We're excited to hear from our panelists today. We're looking forward to some great discussions, and we'll get started here in about 1 or 2 minutes. All right. Well, it seems like we have a couple more people who are joining in, but I respect for everybody's time. I'm gonna go ahead and get things started here. So, hello everyone. Welcome. My name is Tyler Santos, and I'm the Business Development Manager here at the National Sports Forum. I want to welcome you all to today's webinar, Scoring Goals, Tactics for Special Event Sales and Maximizing Sales Efficiency. Our moderator, Tim Hammer, the VP of Sales at Visiting Media, will be sitting down with Audrey Bounds, the Director of Event Booking at Austin FC and Q2 Stadium. They'll be discussing how sports teams and properties can drive special event sales with the pent-up demand for both corporate and private events. Tim and Visiting Media were a sponsor of the 2022 NSF, and they will be joining us again in 2023. Visiting Media creates solutions that empower thousands of individual, cluster, and global sales teams. They are known for executing great product innovation and consistently delivering exceptionally high ROI to their customers. Major companies around the globe have adopted the True Tour selling platform across their organization at every level. Now, before I hand it over to Tim, I want to let everyone know that if you like the content you hear today, you can join the Forum family live at the 2023 National Sports Forum Conference, February 26th through the 28th, which is less than 3 weeks away. We will be in Los Angeles, California, and our hosts include LAFC, SoFi Stadium, Hollywood Park, and YouTube Theater. To learn more, please visit our website, www.sports-forum.com. Now, we're looking forward to some great discussion here today. So with that being said, please welcome Tim Hammer, the VP of Sales at Visiting Media. Take it away, Tim.
Hey, thank you, Tyler. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you to our special guest, Audrey. And I did also want to, introduce Erica and Mason, our senior account execs on our team. And they have, I think, the lucky job of working with a lot of our stadiums as well. So that's why they're here to join us today. But we're going to go through high level what we're all about as a company, but really getting into how we can help promote more non-game day revenue for your venues. Actually, Tyler, I just need to be able to share. I'm not able to do that on my screen. If you can just allow me to do that, that'd be great.
Let's see, Melody.
Yep, we're good to go now.
There we go.
Yep. All right. I think we're there. So as Tyler mentioned, I'm Tim Hammer. I'm the VP of Sales for Visiting Media. And Oops, excuse me. Sorry. What is Visiting Media? We are best known for True Tour, which is our sales enablement platform. We're going to dive into what that looks like and exactly what that means, but essentially it's what it sounds like. It's all about enabling sellers. It's not a passive platform. It's something that's meant to be used by your sales team, your marketing teams, operation teams, but it's really meant to power you as sellers and marketers to bring in additional revenue for your property. So we're really well known in the hospitality community, but we work in a variety of other industries as well. And we work with, and we'll show you some of these stadiums that we work with as well. And I think that you'll find that our ROI is maybe even equally as strong or stronger than a lot of our hotel partners, just based on the various avenues that we can create additional revenue. So as Tyler pointed out, this is all about maximizing sales efficiency, and especially we're going to focus on private event and non-game day revenue. So we know, if everyone's on here, that this is probably really important to you, but where that's going to be the primary focus is on private events. There's many other revenue streams that we'll kind of touch on: ticket sales, suite sales, sponsorship sales, and that sort of thing. But we're going to primarily focus on non-game day revenue and kind of talk through three topics: efficiency. Do you have all the right tools in place to find, deliver, and track these tools that you're using to help close deals? And flexibility, ensuring you always have fresh content, the ability to curate proposals for customers, and to help win business faster. And then really everything ties back to ROI, which is what the platform is meant to do. It is all based on revenue generation, and really each property and venue getting a strong ROI out of that. So we're going to kick it off with a survey question first, just to gauge, make sure everyone's in the right place here. How important is increasing private event and non-game day revenue to your stadium or property? And we're just going to give a few seconds here for everyone to fill that in. You guys don't get to see this, I don't think, but I get to see the numbers going back and forth about the priorities here. But thank you for everyone. Looks like we're almost there on the responses. Yeah, 100% answered. Thank you all. I can say that 0% of the group said it's not a priority. And well over half said it was a high priority, about 6%, 60%. And then at least 40% said it's somewhat of a priority. So clearly everyone is interested in how you can increase private event revenue. So we're going to get into that. First, I'm going to introduce Audrey Bounds, who you were introduced to at the very beginning of the call, but I'm going to let her say a few things about her experience with Q2 Stadium and Austin FC. Kick it over to you, Audrey.
Hi, everybody. It's wonderful that all of you guys are here attending this. I actually learned about Visiting Media from last year's National Sports Forum, which was hosted in Austin last year, which was a really great opportunity. Someone within the industry introduced me to Erica, and then it was the easiest yes I've ever said in my entire life, because I got my entire team on board. I just did a small interview with NSF about Visiting Media and the power that we've been able to harness with its tools for our clients. We're really, really happy with our products. You can visit q2stadium.com and click host your event. You're able to see that it's integrated so well into our website. But we are a destination city. We know that about Austin. We have clients who are coming from all over the country to host conferences and be part of Austin culture. And we're very lucky to host a lot of those clients, but a lot of that comes at a cost to them to be able to fly in, visit the stadium. A lot of people don't understand that we are a brand new stadium and our furnishings are really nice. So it makes it really easy to be able to send them a link and say, feel free to give yourself a virtual tour. We actually have an event planner that's coming in 2 weeks for their event who's been able to plan their entire event virtually because they've been able to use the specific tools that True Tour has been able to give online. There's some really great features, specifically the measuring feature, which is actually something that I talked to Tim about earlier this week that our client decided to use. And it's been really simple. And I'm here to help answer any questions that you guys may have, but we've been very happy with all of our photos and tour program that we've been able to have at the stadium, that we're actually going to be doing some more imaging of it for our sales team, because they have found such a need to have this. So we're actually going to do some more. So I'm very excited to be working with our team in Austin to be able to do that for our team.
Thanks, Audrey.
That is great. Thank you so much, Audrey. I heard a lot of things in there too that just speaks to this next kind of topic that we're going to talk about, which is efficiency, and the idea that, you and your team now have all this at your fingertips. It's online as well. And it's great to hear that it's actively working. We love to hear that. And we'll certainly be in touch regarding the additional shoots and stuff. So we'll move forward so everyone kind of starts to understand what we're talking about as we dive into the platform. But wanted to talk about our idea of efficiency. And really, as we look at it, we feel that modern selling requires this efficiency. Obviously, speed to market wins more business. People aren't as patient with waiting around to try and book business. If you don't have the materials needed, they are going to go to the next place because people are just, things are shorter and shorter term. And the competition is getting tougher and tougher. So, and we also know that in a lot of industries, teams are leaner and being asked to do more. So really, you need the ability to find, present, and deliver your content or any necessary materials throughout the sales process to be efficient and win business. And we feel that this efficiency and needs that relevant content, and that's both immersive and traditional content. So that's kind of what we're going to talk through next. Is, do you have those tools to make your team efficient? So just going to throw some stats up here too as we're talking through this. It's all going to come back to ROI, like I mentioned in the very beginning. And these are a couple of the keys, some of my favorite stats that we have from various surveys that we've done with our customer base and non-customers, actually, even in other industries. But this middle one is one of my favorites from an efficiency standpoint, because it really speaks to maximizing your sales team's time. And that's the 31% decrease in selling time. So really closing the sales cycle. And that's really what this platform is built to do. And then also, obviously, from an ROI standpoint, even if you can decrease the selling time, you got to win more business. So the 25% increase in proposal conversion, we're very proud of, which is why that top one, over 80% of our customers are reporting very strong six-figure ROIs as they use the platform. We're going to ask another survey question, and then I promise we will dive into to the platform here shortly. But have you ever provided a virtual site inspection at your current facility? Okay, it looks like we have 100% answered. So just about 13%, it sounds like 2 locations have provided a virtual site inspection of the facility, where the other 14, about almost 90% said that they have not. So I'm glad that we're going to talk through this. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means for us. So when I talked about selling efficiency and this modern era of selling, and we talked about immersive and traditional content, that's a little bit where virtual site inspection comes into play. It's not only thinking about a virtual tour, which we'll get into, but it's really having all of these different components. When we talk about immersive technology, we're talking about 360 photos, 3D, CGI or computer generated imagery, but also the traditional items are very important as well. And that's kind of where our platform comes into play, is bringing all of these together. So it's not forgetting things like PDFs and websites and your photos and videos, but really it's bringing them all together in one place and allowing your team to be very, very efficient. But as we've learned in our research and also from our customer base, the higher the immersion, so as you get to the right side of the screen, the 360s and 3D, really your selling effectiveness goes way up. And that's the ability as you really start to see that efficiency in the ROI. So when we talk about 360s, just give a few examples here. It's just like what it sounds. This might look familiar to you, Audrey. But
I love that you use this one. This one's perfect.
I love it. It's a great space. So 360s are the ability to really just jump around and see all of the various spaces. Whereas when we get into 3D, that's really the ability to walk through the space. And you can dive into to spaces a little bit further. And like I said, actually walk. It's all about getting from point A to point B. I'll get into that a little bit more as we go through. But I just wanted to show another ROI stat here. The use of these immersive visuals, really when you use it on the first reply, immediate proposals, your ROI or your ability to close business goes up 17 times. So clearly very important to lead with this. And that even is compared to using immersive technology on like the third or fourth outreach. We've just found that as you use this immediately, it really helps close business and close business faster. So it's got to take more than a virtual tour, though. A lot of times people think about our company or as just a virtual tour company, or people think of virtual tours all as basically the same thing, where really it's got to be more than that. Virtual tours are really only a part of it. And our platform and our way of selling and really how we train our customers is to use this. It's really a human to human selling. It's both virtual selling and in-person selling using these immersive visuals. But it's really all about effortlessly finding and presenting these materials that you have all in one place, so that you can do these things that the slide kind of lays out here. So everything on the left, and we'll go through these use cases, but is really your selling enablement. So our virtual selling, obviously like we're doing here on screen share, if someone can't come and view the stadium, but you want to be able to show it to them. But also this works really, really well in face-to-face selling or phone selling, but being able to share this digital content and track it. And then we'll get in a little bit more to the use cases on the right, which are how it relates to your marketing departments and the ability to have it on websites and in proposals and whatnot. We're going to ask one more survey question, then I'll dive fully into to the demo here. But how confident are you in selling your space to a customer who has not or cannot experience it in person? All right. So some mixed answers here. I don't know if everyone can see this, but so I'm going to read off the answers in case you can't. Sorry. But most people are saying there's somewhat confidence in their ability to sell without someone being on site. And a little under 10% are saying not confident at all. And about 20% saying very confident, which is great. And we want to be able to basically empower you taking that not confident and somewhat confident and really getting everyone in that very confident stage. So we're going to go in right now to live demo. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about what this platform does and really how it's laid out. And then we'll get into some of the use cases. So pretty simple layout. We have on the left-hand menu, you have all of your different content types. So this is where you have all your 360 viewpoints, your site inspections, or this is your 3D. Also have all of your videos, your photos, your PDFs and websites all in one place. So as we talked about, it really is about having everything in one place so your team can be efficient. But it's not just using 360s and 3D, these new things. There's a lot of use cases and the ability to combine all of these things. For instance, these websites, if those get used often during the selling process, we load those right into the platform so that they're at your team's fingertips and they can be shared seamlessly throughout the platform. We also encourage everyone to any PDFs that you might have throughout the selling process. So if this is your general events guide, that gets loaded in here. If you have any floor plans for various event types, that can also go in here. And of course, you're going to have your photos, anything from various different events that you've had on site or anything again that can be useful. We always highly encourage that, as well as any videos. And then as we get into 360s, we looked at a few of these previously, and 360s are really your super tool within the platform. They really give you the ability to create that emotional connection with someone that you're trying to sell virtually to, or if you're face-to-face selling as well. But really the ability to bounce around the stadium, quickly show different spaces, different suites. If someone wants to see images of what the loading dock looks like from an operational standpoint, you can quickly jump around from space to space, show the aerial, what this might look like in relation to other aspects of the city, or if you have a large, lawn area like this that gets used for public, private events or whatnot. But really the ability, again, to quickly jump around from space to space. Show a few more aerials here, but again, this is a hotel one, but I just showed the image of the stadium one as well, so you get the idea of basically being able to show where it's at in relation to other aspects of the city. As we get into 3D and this site inspections, this is really all about, like this one too, really all about walking from space to space. So 360 is kind of that super tool, creates that emotional connection, really lets someone kind of feel what it's like to be there. Whereas 3D is if you were to be walking someone around from space to space, or if this is where the reception area is going to be, and you want to show, what that's like in relation to another aspect of the stadium. This also works really, really well when you're talking about operational standpoint. So this is like an artist's dressing room or green room, and then be able to show what that walk is like to get to the main stage and how that works. So this can be very helpful if you're attempting to do that, that virtual site inspection. And as Audrey pointed out, from this, you do have the ability to use the measuring tool, which can be really helpful if you're trying to figure out different, dimensions of a room and that sort of thing, whether you load in, load out, the crates that you're bringing in, will they fit and whatnot, things for staging and all different types of use cases. But that's your ability there to be able to use those. And of course, you can view these things in Dollhouse or floor plan model. So lots of different use cases between 360, 3D, and all the other content pieces that would go in that. So that's kind of how everything's organized. That's how, you want to show your space, present it, whether you're in person or over screen share. But at some point, you're going to want to be able to share this with someone. And that's where this little button down here on the bottom right comes into play. So we want everything to be in one place, but again, at some point you're going to want to share this. So I'm going to use yours as an example here, Audrey. So if a customer, if you're on the phone with a customer and you want to be able to share this space so that you can walk through it together, you can just go to this share and integrate button down here. I'm just going to share this one thing. I'm going to put my number in here. And from here, this would text it to me. I just got a text here on my phone. But if I were to grab this link, this is essentially what the customer gets once this gets sent to them. So these links can also be used for proposal selling, putting this in an email, but basically your ability to share any piece of content with that potential customer. And this doesn't only work with 360s, it also works with 3Ds, and it also works with PDFs, websites, and what have you. So really from anywhere in here, you can give the ability to share that content with someone. All right. So now I'm going to get into flexibility. And this is really obviously the ability to be flexible in your selling process, but what that means with this. So a couple of different things that I wanted to talk through. And one is this ability to curate proposals for your customers. So we went through and did this example here of sharing this one piece of content. And that can certainly be done if you just want to show one room. Even in an email, you might be referencing a couple different locations and link those into that email for each of those. But at some point, you may want to combine different materials. The platform allows that. You can see this little button here that basically goes into collect. So if I wanted to share a couple different things, or I'm on a site inspection with a customer and I want to follow up afterwards with all the different areas that we saw, I can start to collect those to be able to provide that afterwards. So as soon as I do that, I start collecting a couple different items. And maybe we also looked at this field club view in 3D. And I also want to show this free play bar because they were also interested in that. And I also want to make sure that I give them my general events guide. Now I've essentially put together a quick collection of these assets, and that's exactly what gets sent to the customer. So each of the 3D pieces of content that I put in there, as well as this one room and the PDF that they needed. Well, at some point during the sales process as well, that might change. The customer might want to see another event space. They may need some additional information, and I can easily go back in here. And let's say I needed to add that website. So they were from outside the area and they want to know a little bit more about the area. And they were also wanted to see that aerial of the stadium. Well, now as I go back to this, they're going to immediately, I didn't even have to refresh this, and you can see that it's already got that website in there now. It also has the additional aerial map, and I've now curated this proposal and updated it real time, and I don't have to resend the link. I can simply tell my customer, hey, check the link. It's got all the additional information that we talked through on there. So again, the ability to really just be flexible and provide the information necessary. The other aspect of the flexibility concept that I wanted to point out is the ability to create these CGI setups, computer generated imagery. So many times when you want to show a setup and whatnot, the old days, you would just set it up completely with all your furniture and bring the staff in and that sort of thing, which can be very inefficient from a time standpoint and also very costly. So we've started creating CGI setups. And this is obviously a hotel, but the concept, holds true to really any industry or any setup you might want. So if you wanted to show a concert setup, instead of setting everything up within the stadium, we can easily set that up using CGI. In this image here, everything from the grass up is computer generated. Everything else is an actual just 360 image. And we have the ability to do this with custom assets as well, if you have specific items that you typically set up. This is actually throughout a renovation. Everything here, the actual room exists, but this room had carpet in it, had different lighting and whatnot, and we actually use that from a renovation standpoint. So anytime anything major needs to change, we have the ability to go in and do that. That also holds true with some of the sponsorships. And this is where a lot of our stadiums have seen value in this, as you have different areas throughout the stadium that might have different sponsor logos and that sort of thing. We have the ability to switch those in and out using that CGI as well. And I guess this is one more example just of how this typically works. So this is just how we shot the space. So this could be one of your private dining rooms, meeting room, or stadium floor, what have you. And then we can just overlay these various CGI setups right on top of that. The other aspect of flexibility I wanted to point out is the ability to change up images as you see fit. So oftentimes there's renovations that happen. Oftentimes you just don't like the setup, or you even just get some new furniture. Every aspect of what we do allows for constant free reshoots. So Audrey was talking about adding some shoots, but if for some reason she was also interested in just updating her images because they had some soft good renovations or what have you, or just needs different setups, we always come in and do that completely free of charge. So part of everything that we do is allows for those reshoots. And I think we had one. Did we have one more survey question? Oh, I guess we talked about this. My apologies. And lastly, I just wanted to talk, if you are interested in learning more about the platform, we also have this promo. If you just mention this NSF webinar, we are offering no charge in 2023. And I actually did skip over one thing. I'm going to go back. My apologies, but is to talk about integrations real quickly, because I think that's important. We were talking about the sales component, but there's also this other passive and SEO developing aspect as well, which is the integration. So the platform also allows to integrate individual pieces of content or the entire True Tour on websites, proposals, third-party sites and whatnot. You can see here on the Q2 Stadium one, they have the virtual tour button. As you click that, it takes you right into this, and you have the ability to go into all these spaces. There's another example here of just kind of highlighting all of the different individual spaces. Levi Stadium. And if any of the imagery ever changes within the platform, it synchronizes with the website as well. These integrations, these are some hotel examples, but I think relevant, just showing how this can work on various websites, but just giving you the ability to quickly view the space while staying on your space. And this holds true over to Google and whatnot as well. So many different integration samples, but our team really works with you in terms of getting that up on websites, getting it in proposals, and fully training your teams to be able to quickly and easily use all of this. I guess we can go to questions as well and open that up to everyone. Audrey, I don't know if you had anything else to add or if I missed anything.
No, I actually really enjoy rewatching all of this again, because now I'm keeping note of all the things that I'm like, oh, okay, we should do that differently. Okay, we should do that differently. So it's actually been really helpful to review. I actually did that with Bank of California's website to be able to decide like, oh, what did they do really well? What do I like about this, and I've looked at some of the other True Tour platforms that you guys have used with other destinations, and I have really enjoyed walking around, you know, and being able to be like, okay, I want to do that here at the stadium. So it's been really helpful to be able to see that and to know that it really does help, and it helps all of my clients.
Excellent. That's,
Mhm.
I love hearing that, Audrey.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank
Easy,
you.
easy sell.
No, thank you. I think that's key as well, is that you're saying you're watching this and seeing additional things you want to do.
Truly.
That is one of the things we really try and do, is kind of is have this constant you know, you obviously have your success manager that you work with,
Mhm.
and that person is there throughout the entire experience to help with the shoots, but also help with the training. We have online training now, and live trainings, I think a couple times a week. So we're constantly kind of making sure that teams know exactly how to use this, but the whole concept is to make it as easy as possible. So I don't know, like, to me, I'm in it all the time, so I feel like I'm just walking around through it and everything. But oftentimes, if you see it from the outside, it can be like, wow, that seems like a lot's going on. But really, we try and curate our training and the implementation to exactly what the needs are of each venue, and get them onboarded, get them very, very comfortable with it. And then, like you're talking about, Audrey, then just start perfecting it and doing more and more where you see there's a lot of use cases. So
Agreed. And if anybody's interested, the photography of the spaces took no time at all. So our spaces really didn't have to be offline at all while they were doing all of the imagery. I thought that was really important. It was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. We had an entire schedule throughout the day, and I think that it was less than half the time that it took that we had scheduled for everybody, for the photographer to come in. And it was the easiest thing that we've ever done. I think it was like 5 minutes in every space that it took. And Merritt's on the participating right now, Merritt on my team, so she can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm really positive that it was the easiest thing that our team has ever done. Our operations folks were not expecting that to be as quick as it was, which was great.
Thank you very much for saying that. Sometimes I forget to talk about that too. And I've been part of a lot of photo shoots in my career. And I was thinking the same thing when I first got these. I was thinking, okay, 360's got to take way longer than a regular photo shoot, but it's actually
absolutely
way shorter.
We're all here to talk about the ROI of the product, and making a space go offline sometimes is really not as easy as it seems, because if we're not having an event in there, we're having maintenance run inside of the space, or we're doing cleaning or something, but it really worked easily into our space. And everyone on our team has been able to see the benefit of this.
Great. Thank you. And I think also, I mean, oftentimes something is booked, right? That's ideally,
Yes.
you don't have all these rooms vacant. Not everything needs to be done in one day either. So we can be
exactly
flexible
what we did.
if we are there. Great. Yeah. So we have content creators in every major market and then some. So certainly where all the stadiums are. So usually local content creators that we can come in here and there as well as needed.
Yeah.
And just to chime in super quick, Erica, I work with Audrey pretty directly. So one of the things too is that from an operational perspective, I work with a lot of MLS stadiums, and that's a big thing too. So Audrey, to your point, a lot of the spaces will be booked. You have maintenance, you get a lot of questions, especially like for concerts, for private events, like what is the distance from point A to point B?
Yes.
So just to have the measurement function to your point is really helpful to have, because you could just send that off. It's like exact to about a 1/4 of an inch. So you get basically that out of the way instead of having to go out, measure, or like find some sort of floor plans to send off. It's really effective. And then last note on your property specifically, which is really cool, is I know you're going into like the concert sets too. So we talked about like the actual footprint of your stadium, where it's really unique. You have a live oak park on the outside, and then you also have the interior. So being able to showcase like game day to an actual concert set, to be able to really sell those spaces, essentially when you're not having those games for X number of days per year, is a really valuable ad that I'm really excited to see for you guys.
Yes. Great call out.
I'm just seeing the questions too in the chat, and it looks like we answered all of these. Audrey, you answered the question about confirming it's a speedy process.
Thank you,
Mason, thanks
Merritt.
for
Great
answering
job.
the mobile. What's that?
Merritt on my team answered that.
Oh,
so
okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Merritt.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Feel free to type them in. We also have the email address there too. That'll get to directly to Erica and Mason and myself. And we'd be happy to, this was kind of an abbreviated version of the demo. We can certainly dive in further and then also talk about kind of the pricing model and how that works. But I think most properties would be surprised at kind of what that pricing looks like. We try and have it be as affordable as possible. All the content is done at wholesale and is a very small monthly fee for that. And anyone that already has immersive technologies, by the way, or content, if you have 3D or you have 360, it can be loaded in. There's never a cost for that. But we'd be happy to provide individual pricing for your venue. And like I said, provide a full demo if you're interested.
I also want to encourage, if anybody's on the call that's interested in asking, the hard hitting questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to drop my email address in the chat. Like I said, obviously I'm a big supporter of visiting media, but I'm more than happy to go through the motions with you on my experience.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions? Tyler, I think that was it on our end. But we are happy to stick around if there are any other questions, but it doesn't look like there's many more. Larger the group, the less the questions.
Yeah, it looks like y'all did a great job of answering questions. I know you guys had team members in the chat too that were doing it, kind of as you went along. So that's great to see. We love when teams, bring out their squad and bring the full force to the webinar. I just want to thank you both, Audrey and Tim, for the insightful discussion, the product demo, and thank you to everybody who joined our webinar today. We hope there's some information that you could take back with you to your organization that you can put to use and be of benefit. And of course, as a reminder, again, if you enjoyed the content of today's session, we'd love to have you join us at the National Sports Forum Conference, February 26th through the 28th in Los Angeles. If you need any information, you'd like to learn more, please visit our website, www.sports-forum.com. We hope to see you all there. Again, thank you so much, and everybody have a great rest of your day. Goodbye now. Clear, Melody?
Wait 1 second.